If you're looking for a new way to support the podcast, check out Dubby.gg, an energy supplement company trying to make a difference. There you can use code SIDEMISSION for 10% off your order. Thank you to Dubby for sponsoring this episode, and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome into the newest episode of Side Mission. I, like always, am your host, Rusty Ellis, joined by the boys, Kyle Lynch and Matt Beck, and today we are talking about Super Mario Party Jamboree, or Mario Party Jamboree. I don't think there's the word super in front of that. I could be wrong. But either way, we're talking about the newest installment in the Mario Party franchise. And boys, I know that in the time that we've spent with this game, because it's kind of unreal how quickly I built up a pretty solid playtime in this game. I'm a little concerned for myself, not going to lie. A little obsessive maybe at times, because at one point I saw each of you with 4 hours played, and I looked at mine and I saw like 17, and I was a little concerned. Of how much this game I'd played. But I think it's safe to say we all really enjoyed this game. It's another excellent entry into this franchise. 2 in a row, really, for Nintendo. Looking back at Super Mario Party Superstars, and coming off of the first Mario Party that was on the Switch, I think we all agree it's really nice to see them starting to get this formula right again, because that one, not a lot of nice things to say about it really from anybody. I don't think I've actually ever heard anybody say anything nice about that game. But Kyle, we'll start with you. Feel like one of the biggest strengths in this game is the variety. One of the biggest criticisms of that Super Mario Party game, again, the one that came out when the Switch was first launched, one of the biggest complaints was there's only 4 boards. And Super Mario Party Jamboree Superstars didn't really fix that, but the boards were better. This time around, there's 7 boards at launch. You have to unlock the last couple of them. But not only are the boards not only is there a lot of them, Kyle, each of the boards plays their own way. They all have great characteristics to them. Each of these boards are high quality, Kyle. I feel like that's one of the biggest strong suits in this game.
Yeah, I agree. The boards are fantastic in this game. And the fact that we had 6 at launch, fantastic. I gotta say, I've seen a lot of Mario parties come out for the Switch, especially recently, and this has to be the best one that we've had probably since Mario Party 4 on the GameCube. That was my personal favorite one. And, Superstars was great, but this is completely original, and I think that it's, a perfect blend of the older Mario parties while adding new stuff, mainly Party Planner Trek. I 100% the whole thing. I was obsessed with it. It was so good. A story mode-esque, type game works with Mario Party because the last couple didn't have that, and I think that that's one thing that maybe not a lot of people are drawn to, but I definitely am. Because, I'm not always playing Mario Party with other people, and I'd like some sort of single-player campaign mode or something to do in order to actually unlock stuff, and the fact that they had a completely separate mode for you to go through all of the maps, and, you get to kind of explore them and do all these different tasks and challenges. That was my favorite part of the whole game.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest strengths to this game is variety, and I think where Superstars maybe wasn't as successful, it was successful in a lot of aspects, but where it wasn't was it felt like if you didn't want to play Mario Party specifically, you could go and play all the mini games, and that was about it. Like, there just weren't a ton of options, and here there's several different game modes, including, I think, a couple that maybe we could all agree, maybe we could put even more time into compared to what we have at this point in time. There's kind of that wave defense, that tower defense, Bowser mode where you defeat this giant Bowser. You can set up the enemies on the field to where they're different. There's 3 different stages, I believe, right now. There's Koopathlon, which I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, but I think is one of the best side modes that Nintendo has put in a game in a long time, where, you're all basically on this big track and you play mini games each kind of round, or every roll, or every round you pretty much play these mini games, and based on how many coins you collect is how many spaces you get to move around the track. And it's whoever finishes all 3 or all 5 or however many laps you have. It's whoever finishes that amount of laps first. And I think it lends itself to being really chaotic. Matt, Kyle said something that I wanted to touch on a little bit more because I think that it says a lot when you've got a long-standing franchise like this that a game comes out a decade, 2 decades after the first one, and it's one of the best in the series. How do you feel about where this game ranks in totality amongst other Mario Party games?
Honestly, I've been very kind of picky when it comes to my Mario games. Obviously, Superstars was a fantastic return to formula by reusing older mini games from the N64 days, from the GameCube days. Like, I roughly dropped off from Mario Party around what was it? I think I think right around the time that the Wii U game started coming out, actually. And after the Switch came out, everybody was so hyped up with the Switch and this concept of having this portable Nintendo handheld console. And then, they announced Super Mario Party, which I was very excited about, especially when they showed some concepts where people with multiple, Switch tablets could put them together and play mini games that you couldn't play outside of that. But when this game was announced, and I was super excited for it because they looked like they were going all out, especially because we are coming close to the end of the Switch's life, and this was just the perfect swan song for Mario Party on the Switch, just from how much there is to do here. Like, this revitalized Mario Party and what it can be in the future for me, especially on whatever next system Nintendo releases. I mean, the number of characters that they have, the number of boards that they have, the number of mini games, and just all the modes and all the optional things, from being able to customize like a post, like a thing with stickers. There's other little things here and there, like we were talking about the different modes. I actually played a couple earlier. One I do not recommend because it requires you to wave your arms around like an idiot, like you were playing Wii Sports. Paratroopa's Flying Course. I actually had to hold my hands out and flap around in my room. Like, I could not possibly imagine playing that with people watching me. There was one that I really did actually like that uses the Joy-Cons, motion, how you just turn it around and it's just completely reflective of that, like one-to-one motion, where you are, controlling this little sphere. Like, I think it's like Toad's Toy Factory, and sometimes you'll lift it up, you'll raise it down, you'll twist the left to right. Like I said, they went all out in this game, and I only can hope that this is the blueprint for Mario Party going forward.
I would like to point out something that Matt just said, because one thing I'll do, and I know this has nothing to do with Mario Party, so forgive me if this is a tangent, and Matt, forgive me if this sounds like I'm about to hoe you. I'm not trying to intentionally. I went back, because one thing I'll do is I'll listen to older episodes, and randomly I stumbled across our most anticipated games of 2023. And the reason I'm bringing this up, one, if you've not listened to that episode, I think that's low-key one of the funniest episodes that we've ever done. And one thing Matt said in that episode regarding Tears of the Kingdom was, Nintendo is known for ending consoles with a Zelda game. And this is going to be the last year of the Switch's life cycle. That was January 2023. That was January 2023. It is now November 2024. Now, the thing that I will give you credit for, Matt, is I think this time around, I think you're correct. I think we are coming up on the end of the Switch lifespan. I think that we are going to be seeing information regarding Nintendo's next system very, very soon. I do think you've spent the better part of the last year and a half, 2 years saying every other week that this is the week it gets announced. But I do think that you are more right now than you have been, because I do think we are starting to get in. But back on Mario Party, I do think that you're correct in that if this is how Mario Party ends on the Switch, I think it's going out on a high note, and I think they have a lot to build on. Specifically, again, like we said, adding more boards like they have, and adding more modes in this one like they did, kind of experimenting. I like that Nintendo was willing to do that with this game. They were willing to take chances, and sure, in some of them, it doesn't work, but I at least admire that they tried to do something different. So I give them a little bit of credit. I can't give them full credit, obviously, because I don't believe in full credit for just trying, but give them some credit. Nintendo got creative. They tried some new things, and for the most part, a lot of them worked. Kyle, something new in this game, or at least new to the Mario Party franchise, we've seen it in a couple recent Nintendo games, the addition of achievements. A really, really good addition, and something that I know you were really excited about. So I'll let you kind of touch on that, Kyle. The achievements in this game, I like that it kind of gives you reasons to replay the game, replay certain modes, trying different maps. It gives you objectives to kind of go for. And even if there is really no reward for completing all the achievements, it's still pretty cool that they thought to add that in.
Yeah, I think that honestly, this is probably if Nintendo were to do achievements, which I think that what they've been doing with a couple of recent games like Luigi's Mansion and Mario Party, they're testing the waters on how people feel about in-game achievements rather than an achievement overboard that we get on like PlayStation, Xbox that shows like all your games, what achievements you have, and like I kind of like that they're keeping it condensed to within the game, and if you do specific achievements, there are rewards for certain achievements. Or in Mario Party, for example, every time you get an achievement, you go up on the battle pass. I think that it's a genius idea because if they're not going to do an overall achievement system, keeping it to specific games and having achievements unlock rewards for those games is almost a little bit more satisfying than going for achievements just overall that don't give you anything in game other than bragging rights.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of this, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think that, again, it's a nice blueprint, kind of like Matt was saying. It's a good blueprint for, okay, they're testing the waters with this. Let's see if maybe the next system, maybe they implement something that is more system-wide versus just on a game-to-game basis. And like you said, there's a part of me that really likes the progression in the Battle Pass. I like the progression quite a bit of, if you complete 3 or 4 achievements in a single game, odds are you've got a chance of progressing that battle pass really well, and that might get you over the edge to unlock your next board. Because as I mentioned, I believe there's 4 boards available to you right away, and there's 3 that you can unlock by progressing the different tiers of the battle pass. I think the first one is silver, then gold, and then diamond, or something like that, or it's like bronze, silver, gold, something like that. And I feel like that, again, it's good motivation to go and try to get these achievements. One thing that kind of is tied in with those achievements, specifically with Mario Party itself, the actual game mode, and I really like this implementation, is the Jamboree Allies system, where at random points in the game, an ally will be dropped onto the board, and it'll be a character that is not being controlled. It could be Luigi, Mario, Donkey Kong, Daisy, Peach. Really, it could be just about Bowser Jr., I believe, is one as well. I think I could be wrong. I think almost every character, there's also an ally form of them as well. There might be a couple that aren't. But Matt, I really feel like this was good. And the way they implemented it, where you don't have to be the person that lands on it to get the ally, because obviously the whole point is they'll stay in place for 3 turns, and if nobody gets there, the ally will just go away. But if somebody gets there, it triggers an ally minigame, and while, yes, the player that lands on them gets a little bit of an advantage, whether it be a head start in coins or a head start in points in the minigame, it's still very possible, Matt, to get the ally if you didn't land on them. And I feel like, as well, these are where some of the best minigames are, like DK's. I love DK's Conga minigame. I think that is one of the best minigames in the game. And I feel like, again, it's a very welcome change that I would not mind seeing come to the next iteration of Mario Party.
Yeah, honestly, the first time that I encountered the partner, the ally system, ally system, I thought it was going to be broken, but the fact that the person who does lands on it does get a bit of a head start is really nice. Like when you land on Yoshi, one of his it's basically a race, and it's a lot of fun. If the person who lands on him. Yeah, the person who lands on him basically gets to start off with an apple, which will speed will speed Yoshi up, give you a good head start. DK also has a really good one. It's just like this little rhythm game where you hit LR sometimes at the same time. I think Daisy's got a pretty cool one too. It's very much like Fall Guys isk, where it's just like you're collecting these tokens on different maps. It's chaotic. It's really fun. And then some of their abilities themselves are really cool. Like Mario, if you get him as an ally, he gives you an additional dice roll.
Yes.
Wario will give you coins. I think Daisy or Peach, someone one of the two will give you discounts on the store. Like they really did a great job.
Yes.
They really did a great job of deferring them, not giving them all to give you the same ability, which was really nice. On top of that, if you land on an item space, you get to do it twice. If you buy items at the shop, you get to buy them twice. Stars, you get to get them twice. So it really is nice to have an ally with you. And what's great is, like, even if you have it, if you are passed by one of your opponents on the board, they will steal it. So like I said, it is a little broken, but it's fair, if that makes any sense. Like, they really implemented it well to the point where, if it fails, it's on you. But like, it's kind of nerve wracking when you got like one of your people like you're playing against getting up close to you, and you're just like, I just really need to get a good dice roll so I don't lose them. On top of that, they don't stay with you the whole entire time. After 3 turns, they leave. So like I said, it's not broken. They really worked it well to where it doesn't feel OP.
Well, and that's what I was going to say as well, that where I think the game benefits the most from the ally system is that, especially in really close matches where everybody is in such tight proximity on the board, like, there have been turns, and Kyle, I know we saw it, I think, a couple times in one of the games we played, where you might see 3 or 4 different players have the ally in one turn, because everybody is in such tight proximity that you're constantly rolling and passing each other, and it almost makes it this fun little game of tug of war almost, because you're just looking for that one big dice roll to see if you can get some kind of separation from people on the board, and if you can get that, then again you can take full advantage of it. Kyle, I also thought the chaotic nature of this game was absolutely turned up, because do you remember the damn game that we played where the CPU got 3 stars in one turn?
Yup.
Like, that shit is wild to me, but it's low-key why I've learned to love Mario Party, is the chaotic nature of it is what makes it fun.
Yeah, it really does. Dude, I was just thinking about that a minute ago. We really did play a game where a CPU rolled, he literally on one turn, and it wasn't any special dice blocks. He didn't use a golden warp pipe. He literally just, he got so many dice and landed on 3 different star spaces because he just got lucky. Every time it moved, it was like 5 spaces ahead of him. That shit was nuts. Rusty and I were like, I can't believe that just happened. We're about to get whooped by the freaking CPU, and I'm pretty sure that was back when we were still playing with them on easy.
Yes, that was the thing I was getting ready to say, was like the last couple of games we've played with them on master difficulty, and I think all 3 of us will agree, that makes the game so much better playing with them on master, because it doesn't really make them roll the dice any better. It just makes them tougher at mini games, but when you play on easy or normal, it feels like the mini games, you can almost snooze through them and win if you're only playing against one other person. There's only really one other player that you're worrying about at that point, because you're worrying about the other person that has a controller. But on Master, it forces you to kind of lock in on every mini game, especially with bonuses and things like that. I mean, and it ultimately, does it make the game more difficult? Sure. But Kyle, the last game that we played on Master difficulty on the Wild West map, and I won. I was the only player that got a star, and I got 7 of them.
Yeah, literally, dude, that was nuts. And also,
like,
I feel like playing on master difficulty helps a lot when you're paired with the computer, especially when there's 3 of us and we have 1 random. If I'm on the team with the random, if I'm on the team with the computer and I'm playing against both of y'all, I know I'm going to lose. Because the computer's on easy, my teammate's going to be shit, and I'm going up against 2 humans. But when we're playing on master difficulty, it's like I have another human there helping me, so getting paired with the computer doesn't feel as shitty when you're going up against another human or 2 other humans.
Yeah, like you feel like you have a chance. I think that's the most important, especially in those 2v2s. that's really important. Like feeling that you have a chance to at least somewhat come out with a win, or if it's a coin mini game, you don't feel like you're too screwed at the end of the day. I feel like that is very, very. That's again a very good implementation of that level of difficulty. So it's kind of crazy thinking about it, but playing on the hardest difficulty in this game, if you're considering it, but you're worried about how difficult it'll be, you might actually enjoy the game a whole lot more than you are on easy. So I would definitely suggest giving master difficulty a shot. I think all three of us were probably pretty skeptical when we first started it up on master difficulty. We were like, man, we're about to get our asses kicked. Like, this is not going to be fun. Like, we're not going to enjoy this. But realistically, the game became more fun on master difficulty, and I cannot believe that because going in, I would have never imagined playing on master in this game would make it more fun. In terms of criticisms, Matt, one thing I do feel there's two things that I feel like Superstars did better than this game. One was overall progression. I felt very much like being able to just level up after each game based on how many coins you had, how many stars you bought, how many items you used, how well you played in the game. I feel like that's better than leaving the leveling and the progression pretty much strictly up to the achievements. I like the achievements quite a bit. I would have also liked if we could have just leveled up normally after each game. I feel like that would have given you more of a sense of accomplishment as well, in addition to the achievements. I feel like you could absolutely have the best of both worlds there. In addition, Matt, I felt like, and again, a lot of this is because it was reused assets. I liked that there were over 100 mini games in Superstars. Here, it feels like at a certain point, you do start to see the same mini games over and over and over again. Whereas in Superstars, you played for a lot longer before you got to that point.
Yeah, I actually did notice that the number of mini games and Jamboree is probably one of the lowest that we've seen in a while. But Superstars,
they're good mini games. They're good mini games. It's just that there's not as many of them.
Yeah, they are really good. But I think, if you go and you play other modes, they have mini games that you will not play on regular Mario Party mode. So I think it's just more mini games than what we think there are. They're just spread out pretty much. Like in the Koopathon, you play mini games that you're not going to play in Mario Party mode. You're in the mode that I just played, the Bowser's mode or whatever it is called. There's mini games that you aren't going to play in the Mario Party mode. So like I said, I think that they just spread them out, but it still feels like they're less because the more you play the regular Mario Party mode, you are going to replay the same mini games over and over and over. I think what would be cool is if maybe in the future they wanted to do DLC, not so much for characters or boards, but I'd love more boards, of course, who wouldn't? But more minigames would be really cool. Like, they could even bring other minigames that are from, Superstars over. But if they don't, this game's already packed. Like, you're not going to run out of things to do anytime soon. Like, just today alone, I was playing some, and I tried out modes that I haven't touched yet. And like I said, there's more to it than, there's more there than I've experienced, and I'm going to be playing this one for probably years to come.
Oh yeah, I told my friends back in Cookbowl, I said, Super Mario Party Superstars was a game that I constantly found myself returning to, and while I didn't put 300 or 400 hours into it, it felt like every time I came back to it, I had fun with it, and that's where I very much see Jamboree falling in line as well. As again, I probably won't have over 100 hours in it. But every time I come back to it, I'm going to have a good time, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to remind myself why it is I like this game a lot. So I very much see it falling in line with that. Kyle, put yourself in Nintendo's shoes, as much as I know you'll hate that. But if you're working on the next Mario Party game, what is something that you would improve or change going into that next one from this game?
I would absolutely make it to where, I think the Battle Pass idea is cool, but I don't know. I would rather it be a leveling system more geared towards the characters.
Okay.
I don't think Mario Party has ever really done that, so realistically, a lot of people just pick one character, and that's who they always play as. I really liked in Superstars how different characters had different abilities, or they had different dice they could choose from. I would actually bring that back. I thought that was cool. And it gave you a reason to change out characters because, Boo had Boo dice, and, you could roll specific numbers with it. Or Mario had like coin dice where, you could use it and it give you coins or whatever. Like it was different things. And I thought it was really interesting. I'd like to see that brought back, but then expand upon it and give the characters themselves their own leveling system. Only make it go to 5. 10 is too much, and there's too many characters in Mario Party for me to want to get every character to level 10. But level 5 sounds good. Have, 5 different character-specific rewards. Or, like, have one or two be customization. I like to see character customization. Every single character in here has had 1,000 different outfits, I'd like to see that, and maybe that could be tied towards the character progression. You get a couple of outfits, you get some stuff you can put in your plaza, maybe you get a background for getting to level 5, or like a card, or an emote. There could be all kinds of different tiers of rewards that I think, especially here, they introduce cards and stickers and reactions, and, so you could have that set up in the different character leveling systems. I'd like to see that, honestly. That's probably the biggest change Mario Party could implement, in my opinion, going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the good thing, is it all goes back to what Matt said, is that this is a very good template for how to make the next one even better. Mario Party Jamboree is a phenomenal Mario Party game, and it feels like there's still another level that it can get to, and that excites me for whatever the next one will be. Again, whether that's on the Switch, on the next system, or on both, I feel like there's still a lot more they can do, and that's good, because I think Nintendo probably feels the same way. They definitely felt that Superstars was not the peak, because they added a lot here that wasn't in Superstars. So I'm hopeful that they look at that and they take that same approach with their next one whenever that comes. I'm sure it'll be here in the next 2 or 3 years. So that is going to do it for this episode of Side Mission. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Side Mission Pod. You can check us out on Facebook as well at Side Mission Podcast. For the boys, for Matt, for Kyle, I'm Rusty. Thanks for listening.